It was announced last week that the Biden administration says it is using executive power to allow border wall construction in Texas.
Oh, we're building a wall.
Yeah. So
are they calling it? They can't call it a wall.
They have not yet called it a wall, but so they waived. I'll tell you why in a little bit. So they waived 26 federal laws in South Texas to allow this construction on Wednesday, marking the administration's first use of sweeping executive power to pave way for building more border barriers, a tactic
border barriers
used often during the Trump presidency.
The thing that's first off, it's all insane. It's all insane. The super insane part is the second Biden got in office, the very first thing he did is like stopping the border wall. No more, not another foot of border wall.
That was as a candidate, he vowed that.
Yes, and as I say to people all the time, whether it's defunding the police or no more border wall or no nukes, we're not building any nuclear facilities, no more nuclear power plants. Okay, that's great. You've declared what you don't want. Now what do you want? Because I need the second part. You know what I mean? Like you can't just go, we're a sanctuary city. We're going to stop all nuclear power plants. We're not building another foot of wall at the border. And we're getting rid of all gas refineries. There's no more drilling for gas. Okay. Now, tell us about what you're going to do to create this sanctuary city or what fuel we're going to use alternatively to gasoline. You can't just say no. That's the problem we're having in this country right now is a bunch of fakakta fucking politicians going, no to this. And then the problem kicks in. So it's like no more drilling.
Yeah, people vote against things.
Yeah, no more refining oil. Fuck big oil. Okay, gas is $7 a gallon in California. We need something in its place. So we need you to finish whatever that is. So Biden just said no to the wall, and we had millions and millions of dollars of materials there to build the wall, and it all just got rusted out and moved and thrown in the garbage because
a lot of it sold at auction for a tenth of the price.
Right, he took a stand, but I love the proclamations, and there's two things I love. It's like walls don't work. Walls never kept anybody out. Walls never. I said, first things first. The people that make that proclamation are the people that would want you arrested if you built a swimming pool in your backyard in Santa Monica and didn't put a 4-foot high fence around it with a door that was spring loaded. They would want you arrested. So obviously they work because the kid didn't drown. They're around every building that we're trying to protect. Every school I went to had a big, high 8-foot fence around it. We managed to get over it. But the point is you can't just announce walls don't work. And then what they did, which is insane, is they went, no more walls on the border. All right. Instead, we'll get shipping containers and we'll just put them end to end and we'll create some sort of barrier. And then we'll take a bunch of concertina wire and we'll run it along the Rio Grande. It's like, well, that's ostensibly doing what a wall would do, isn't it? Yeah. It's like saying you can't put a wall up around your house because that doesn't work. But what we will do is we'll stack pallets up real high and put broken glass on top of it. So it's like, you're building a wall. You're building
whoa, don't call this a wall. It's not a wall.
I know. Wall never kept anyone out, but a shipping container did? Long ways? Like, what? Okay. Yeah. It's the dumbest fucking thing in the world.
Here's this quote he told reporters.
It would keep people like me out because I'm so lazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just a barrier.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so his response to reporters in the Oval Office says, I'll answer one question on the border wall. The border wall, the money was appropriated for the border wall. I tried to get them to reappropriate it, to redirect that money. They didn't. They wouldn't. And in the meantime, there's nothing under the law other than they have to use the money for what it was appropriated. I can't stop that. So then he asked, do you think the border wall works? And Biden answered, no. And Border Patrol has reported, I'm seeing a bunch of numbers, but it's roughly 245,000 illegal entries in that region during the current fiscal year.
Yeah, it's a problem. And so here's the thing about everything. Nothing just works or just doesn't work. Like if you're having a concert, you put a big fucking fence around the fairgrounds and then you funnel people toward an opening and then you put the security guy at the opening. But you could say, you're telling me that some people couldn't make it over the fence and go see Garth Brooks? And it's like, yeah, they could. It's going to be a combination. It's going to be a wall. It's going to be people. It's going to be surveillance. It's going to be technology. It's just going to be a whole bunch of things that would add up to a more secure border.
One of the things you have to do is be it way worse of a country. And that way people don't want to come in. Like, it's too nice here. If we just made it way shittier a country.
Yeah, I'm with you. We should do what I did all those years ago with my Sony car stereo in my pickup truck. When everyone was getting their cars broken into and everyone was stealing stereos, I spray painted the shit brown. I desecrated my own stereo so it wouldn't be stolen, and it never got stolen, even though I lived in Hollywood.
I have a theory about North Korea is actually just a complete 24-hour rave. They're fucking plush with everything, and they just keep putting out propaganda of it's starving and nothing works.
People have to eat tree bark to survive. Yeah. You're right. They want to be left alone.
Right. That's why you have to have guided tours, because they like, all right, everyone, it's a tourist that's coming through. Everyone look at your shoes. Wipe those smiles off your face.
Who's got bark? Everyone got bark? Everyone good with bark?
I mean, fucking Rodman goes there. There's some partying going on.
Rodman wouldn't go there if it wasn't a good time.
Right.
It's a good point. All right, so good. We'll get the border. I mean, Biden doesn't like it. I'm sure his people are just going, you got to fucking do something. It's a shit show. The thing I'm always interested in the news, whenever I see the polls, I'm interested in what they'll do is they'll go, and it never adds up to 100. I don't know why. Don't do the poll if it doesn't work to 100. You know what I mean? Don't go like 49% of Americans like it, and then 43% say that's not 100. I want the percentage to get to 100%.
What that's always bothered me is where the poll is something. Where the one I used specifically in my act was like, what do you think the likelihood of a terrorist attack at the Olympics? And it was 73% said it's highly likely, 20%, and then the 3% don't know. And you go, no, all of you don't know. It should be 100 fucking percent. I don't know. How could I possibly know?
I used to do the same kind of joke, which is like USA Today used to do that weird pie thing, like the snap. It was like, I think it was called like a snap chart or some sort of pie chart, Okay, they don't understand terrorism activity, but I'd see ones that were like favorite comfort food. It was like 41% meatloaf, like 30% fried chicken. It was always 8% don't know or wouldn't answer. I just like, you're just going to a mall going, what is your favorite comfort food?
I don't have time for this.
I don't know. Well, what would your mom make you when you had your tonsils out or you're sick or something? Well, might it be meatloaf? Like I would push them toward an answer.
Maybe some people hold that private.
You like barbecue?
maybe it's those fat people with the yardstick glasses.
Yes.
I don't have a problem with food. Why are you asking me food questions?
My favorite part about the poll is like they'll show it on Fox News. They'll go like 64% of Americans disapprove of Biden's handling of the border, but it's always like 23% think he's doing an excellent job, and then Fox News goes, look at that, it's a landslide. But I look at it and go, 1 in 4 Americans think he's doing it. What the fuck kind of shit show? So if there was one more person in this room, one more person in the studio, one of us would think he was doing an excellent job at the border? That's pretty insane. That's like saying, 25% of Americans have AIDS. Like,
well, how often do you just say to a question in conversation where you just have no idea what the person asked you? You're like, oh yeah, and because you're looking at some hot chick in the room, whatever. Maybe it's just people are like, okay, I vote that way, so I'm assuming everything's fine.
I think it is people that just voted for whomever and went, I'm not going to fucking eat a dick and say it's a shit show, so I was doing a great job. Anything else?
Yeah, my wife couldn't point to a border state on a map, yet she has the right to vote equally as me or you.
Unfair.
So I'm sure she could easily be the
She could
one
be
in
the
4
24th.
people and just goes, yeah, okay,
Okay. All right.
everything's fine. I think he has nice hair.
What else we got?
Oh, so someone on Reddit did a rough calculation of the amount of alcohol in one of those big daiquiris, those big Slurpee daiquiris. So a 32-ounce one has 3.75 ounces of alcohol.
3.75.
Yeah.
Like Doug, that's breakfast for
shots.
Doug. 3.75. That's your miniature double double
a
margarita.
shot is an ounce and a half.
Yeah. So it's like two and a half shots.
So you got 4 feet
But
of
how much
Slurpee
sugar?
with.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
thing.
jeez.
I'll tell you, the On the Rocks, the old fashioned, it's a premix, is 96 calories for an ounce and a half. And so when I added up the whole bottle, because I could drink a bottle of that. It's a small bottle, and I can can a bottle. It'd be like 1,100 and something calories, and God knows the grams of sugar involved in it. Like, this is fucking terrible for me.
3.5 ounces of booze and 4 foot of Slurpee.
Well,
Jesus
maybe,
Christ.
I think that's a 32-ounce, so maybe, I don't know if that's the same.
I think the 32 ounce is still a yard because that shit is skinny as hell.
Yeah.
And the 32 ouncer equals over 11% alcohol, though. That's what it's saying.
But 11% alcohol is a glass of champagne.
Is it?
Yeah. By the way, if you check the charts, people always think that champagne is like fattening or whatever. Champagne is actually like dry champagne. As long kids, are you listening? Before you become an alcoholic,
If you have to drink and drive, we're not saying drink and drive, but if you have to drink drive, you want to drink drive healthy, and champagne.
Dry champagne is good with the calories with high alcohol if you're choosing versus a glass of red wine or sangria or something like that. All right, sorry, Max Pal, you can get back to your news quest.
Okay, so there's a tech conference, the Grace Hopper Celebration of Women. It was in Orlando last month, and it's to help women. It celebrates women and non-binary people and help them find some jobs in tech. It's like a big conference and job
Can
slash
I
job
just
fair.
say this about celebrating women?
Okay.
There's more women on the planet than there are men.
Right.
They're the majority. Do they need to be celebrated? There's too many of them. They're wildly successful. There's more women in college. They graduate at a higher rate with advanced degrees. Suicides are much lower than men. When do we stop celebrating women?
I feel that way when you hear about celebrities having big birthday bashes. Like fucking Justin Bieber turned 30 and he spent $4.5 million on a. Like, aren't you celebrated enough just being famous? Like, do you really have to have these? You shouldn't get a birthday. So yeah, I feel that about birthdays. Anyone who celebrates random things has not enough going on in there.
Well, it's too general to celebrate women. That's half the planet.
Yeah.
That's a lot of celebrating. It's like saying we're celebrating a continent. You know what I mean? It's like it's too much. We got to narrow it down.
Well, if you're trying, someone's making money off of this celebration, whatever celebration it is. So yeah, you cast a bigger net.
Yeah, the
Oh, it's Women's
Kardashians are
Day.
hammering a check.
Right. So remember, so they're celebrating women, but they're also allowing non-binary people to come. So a lot of men came claiming they're non-binary, and so they were crowded. Like, so many men came to find tech jobs there, and all the women were getting really upset.
Yeah, I love that. I
Yeah.
love when they get bitten by their own woke snake.
They did.
They're
They were
celebrating women, but we also were inclusive, so non-binary or binary or whatever, and then a bunch of dudes show up.
I identify as a woman at airport security when I get randomly selected for a pat down. That's when
Have you done that?
No, I've not done that because I've not been randomly selected since I thought of it. But
But that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got on my license. I got the the X or the C or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, I'm non-binary.
All right.
I was getting my license renewed in Monterey, California, doing a car race there like 5 years ago. My son was with me, and he was like, he was like 12 or something, 13. I was like filling out the paperwork, and he was just standing next to me, and he's like, "Why don't you hit the non-binary box?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, it's funny." And I go, "Yeah, okay." Just fucking check the box that said I'm a he.
Why is no one fighting for trans people to be able to go into women's prisons? Like, no prisoner
they
rights.
do. Well, they go. They fight the other direction. They're all the
What,
dudes.
women want to get into men's prisons?
No,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
No one's fighting that cause because they know everyone would abuse the loophole if everyone could get into a women's prison by.
Yeah, well, women. Listen, it's a one-way street on all the trans shit, which is women, biological women who transition into dudes aren't fighting to get in the NFL or the NBA. They're not fighting to compete with men. There's zero that direction. They all go the other direction. I'm going to tuck my junk in my swim trunks and beat up all you bitches in a swimming pool. Like, that's the direction they go. And it's the same with prisons. The prisons are all dudes saying, I don't want to hang out with a bunch of dudes. I'd rather hang out with the chicks, so I'll identify as a chick. So, yeah, it's one direction for both of them.
But hasn't worked. Like, you can't get into women's prisons by just saying, "Hey, I'm on hormone therapy."
Oh, yeah, you can.
Really?
In California.
I don't know. I know a couple of guys in prison that I talk to, and they, Bobby tells me about, the whatever they call them, the lady boys. They have a certain, what would be a derogatory name on the outside, but they call themselves that on the inside.
Cast members of The View, perhaps, might be prison slang. There's a case, well, California is all for it. And there's a case in California. Here's how fucked up California is. Dawson, I guess you got to look for this. But California has a dude who went to a women's prison and impregnated 2 women.
Oh, yeah.
There's that story. Because, what could go wrong? You have a serial rapist dumped off in a facility with nothing but chicks, showering with chicks. Like, yeah, what could go wrong? Like, why don't you just take a fucking hyena and drop him off in the rabbit hutch, and we'll see how it goes. We're fucking nuts, but there's a crazier one. The crazier California story is that there's the dude who's like bearded dude. Like, the dude walks into the Denny's bathroom, sexually assaults the 9-year-old or the 8-year-old girl in there, then like goes on the lam, gets busted. When he's like in prison, he's having conversations with his dad, and he's like, I'm just going to be a chick now. Like, I'm not shaving my beard, but I'm going for the chick thing, and then they can't do anything to me. And then, like, an assistant DA realizes, oh, this guy's running a scam on us. He's a fucking sexual predator. He's the worst guy in the world, and he wants to go into the women's prison, right? So this guy, during this guy's like arraignment, refuses to call this dude she, because like he's running a scam. Call her she. It's a dude who's running a fucking scam on us. The assistant DA gets fired for not calling the dude a she who raped the fucking 8-year-old in the bathroom. If you want to know anything about California, if I could just tell you, if I could just say, if someone said to me, I'm thinking about moving to California, and I could just tell them one story, it would be this story. This is how fucking batshit crazy we are in California. And I don't remember what happened. Dude, the Gaston, the DA, fired the junior DA guy who kept calling the dude a dude instead of she, even though the person didn't transition or anything, and was scamming them.
How often, like, where is that guy now? I would want to know that. Where is that guy that got fired? Because he's probably popped up in an equal, but I think a lot of the Me Too stories like that, canceled people, probably get a buy. Like, we're going to like they did with priests who molested kids. They'd go, okay, yeah, he got caught. We're just going to move him to another.
He got fired, and then he's going to sue the city or sue the state. He's going to sue us, and then we're going to have to cut him a check. The taxpayers are going to have to pay the guy who got fired.
And then he'll be in another county as a DA.
Yeah.
He'll just reinvent himself somewhere else.
Well, you don't have to reinvent yourself. All you did was fucking call a dude a dude.
Right.
There's
But
no
I'm saying,
reason
say you lose your job, but yeah, another
Yeah. Well,
county's gonna go.
first he'll sue us, and then we'll pay him, and then he'll go somewhere else. Yes.
I'm saying that he was suspended for 5 days without pay for referring to, this is the Hannah Tubbs thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. For referring, for, quote, dead naming, meaning he referred to the defendant by her legal name rather than the name correlating to her preferred gender identity.
All right. Except for we have her on tape talking to her dad about it. I'm just going to be a chick so I can go fucking hang out with the chicks.
And he is listed in court documents.
Yeah. All right. We're nuts. We're officially. I'd love to tap someone who lived in California on the shoulder in like 1951 and go, can I tell you what you have, what we have in store here? We are fucking nuts.
Yeah, but this is, it's almost like the old News of the Weird page. You know, there's all that with
the odd news,
kooky-
yeah.
Yeah, that's just, all they've done is taken News of the Weird and made that the headline. And then you have to dig into the paper for news that actually matters. Oh, yeah, they're changing street sweeping day and your car is going to get towed. Shit you really need to know that affects you is back in the small print. And now fucking guy with the beard.
Well, here's the reason I drill down on it.
It's because it's entertaining. That's why.
No, well, yeah, but no, the reason it's important is it's like a tell. You know what I mean? So you go, there's this guy. I'm thinking about setting you up with
not Dave Attell.
I'm thinking about setting you up with my friend. He's a good dude. But if you have a puppy, keep it away from him because he will kick it. And then you go, I don't want to go on a date with that guy. And then you go, why? Just as long as you don't have a puppy.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, no, but that speaks of a bigger issue. And I'm just saying, L.A., when you engage in this, it's not isolated. It speaks to you being insane. That's what I'm saying. It speaks to a system that is completely batshit crazy. That's what I'm saying. I see it as a tell.
But don't you think that LA's always been symptomatic of being fucking weird like that?
No, I've lived here my whole life. It used to be pretty normal.
Really?
LA, yeah. Well, we didn't have homeless people, and we didn't have. It wasn't as fucked up as it is now.
I moved here in '85 when I was 18 and like fresh out of quit school and took a train out here to live in. Hollywood Boulevard was fucking.
Well, Hollywood Boulevard had it went up and then it went down. 85. That's a low zone.
It was pretty sketchy.
And then it went up. It was kind of Hollywood Boulevard's a little microcosm of New York. You know what I mean? Lots of peep shows and drugs and crime, and then it gets cleaned up, and then it starts to deteriorate again. Like that's what Hollywood Boulevard is. But L.A., like in general, like I grew up in the Valley.
Right.
Normal. It was totally normal. There wasn't vagrants. Well, there were probably couple of hobos, but there wasn't like the masses society of these homeless people.
I was inside a transvestite on Highland.
Really?
Yeah, and I had no idea. That was the first time. First time I didn't know. Second time I knew.
How do you get inside a transvestite?
She was blowing me. I had a girlfriend at the time, and she lived in North Hollywood, so I would drive her on my moped. It was like the kind that actually had pedals.
Yeah,
it's a pooch. And
it
couldn't make it over the hill, but I could get her to
that's
the last
what the pedals were for.
Yeah. But there was always this trans prostitute that would proposition me when I was coming back in front of a hotel.
You see a guy in a moped, you see dollar signs. This guy's a high roller.
That was her come on. Was I'll suck your dick for free.
Oh, really?
And I ended up staying there with my roommate because we were moving apartments, and we had a few days lay off before we could get in the new place. And I go, "This is that hotel. I told you that hooker always wants to suck my dick for free."
Is it like up on Cahuenga somewhere?
It's on Highland, right before you hit the freeway.
Right.
It's on the left-hand side. I think it's a Best Western now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Best Western because I looked at every time I go past it. I
Near
I
the
remember.
Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
however I found her, I go, "Hey, send up your friend to my room, and I'll come down to your room." And so I told my roommate, "Hey, she's hooking you up with her friend."
How
And I
much
went
did it
down there.
cost?
No, it was free.
Oh, really?
I
She's
went
true to her
in.
word.
It sounded like she had moved everyone from the room that was like in there partying into the bathroom. I can hear it sounds like a poker party's going on in the bathroom. And she starts blowing me. And then she got up on top of me like she's going to fuck me on top. And she got down to kiss me, and she had stubble like I do. And I'm like,
turning me on.
oh, fuck. And I made up every excuse. I got to go. I'm missing the prom. I don't know what I said. And I ran up to the room where I'm staying with my roommate, and I'm like, "I think that was a dude." He goes, "Well, the one she sent up here is obviously a dude. I told him to go fuck himself." I go, "Why didn't you call down and fucking warn me?"
So you got a blowjob from a dude,
Yeah.
but I've always wanted to know.
I must have been in her ass because I was in something when she got up on top, but she wouldn't let me touch her anywhere. She'd just push my hand when I went for the titties.
Does a dude give a better blowjob than a chick? Because I feel like there's an argument. You know what I mean? Like
At
they
18
know
years
what a guy-
old, a fucking sock, a melon everything gives a fantastic blowjob.
You're right.
Yeah.
So full of hope. You know,
Yeah.
staring down at the stars. Hollywood, you've arrived, my friend.
Condom is, you don't need a thin skin condom. Just put a condom on. I'll come just doing that.
Cantaloupe.
Again, I hope the kids are listening to this episode because there's a lot of message, a lot of important
lot of
messaging in
wisdom.
here.
Yeah.